Hey, what's good? What's good, everyone? Y'all know what it is. It's me, your boy Trey the Commish. And then, you know what I'm saying? We on a episode of the C.O.B. Y'all know what it is. C.O.B. usually after you going through and had your formations of kind of like been working throughout your day. And then you have that last bit of work to do before it's time to call it quits. So we tapping in, falling in this morning with my man, Ashley, the ambassador Robinson, as we going to know, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Ashley, what's good this morning?
How
Correction,
you?
this afternoon. I'm sorry.
I know, right? Yeah, I'm doing well. It is great to, man, catch up with you again and to be back on the show.
Yeah, so of course, y'all be tune in, tap in. We finna get to it. The COB, let's go.
Some songs are good. All right. Company, Ted.
So as I said, we tapped in with Ashley, the ambassador Robinson. Why are we calling him an ambassador? Why is he called an ambassador? We're gonna get to all that street ball to pro, everything. All this is basically we're gonna talk about Kitsap Admirals, all that. Going to basically do something to get caught up, and then we're gonna hit the ground running from there. So, ambassador,
Yes,
let's
sir.
first start with the term, because on this graphic, which I'm going to be showing it a little bit, it has the name the Kitsap Admirals present. So let's start there. What is the Kitsap Admirals for those that don't know?
Okay, so break it down. Kitsap Admirals is more or less a minor league. It's my vehicle. It's a international team that help players go pro, right?
Okay.
So, well, it's been around 12 years, started in the minor leagues. That's how we started. 12 years of ABA, we went to IBL, NBL, and we can name a bunch of lists of different leagues we went in. We played in the Jamal Crawford League.
Mm-hmm.
We earned our stripes, if you want to say, in the U.S., and then we started going overseas about 8, 9 years ago. And so the Kitsap Admirals, that's what says the vehicle. It's the team that God has blessed me with, where I scouted players and I coached them, and we played at every level. And players, three things. One, of course, get exposure. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They get experience and they get opportunities. They have gotten jobs. So that's what I've used the team for the last, decade or so on adult level. And then it does bleed down to a youth program. So we
Okay.
do start training, from middle school, AAU developmental team. So it's like a farm system, you know what I mean, for the pros.
Okay. And so basically, you turned that and played in, like you said, multiple, being of course, over the waters and competed, and played, bringing it back home. So at some point, we fell into what we know is now the street ball to pro. What is the street ball to pro uh, movement in general? Before we get into it, hence the reason the name, the ambassador.
So Streetball To Pro is the platform.
Okay.
So now what happened is when I got into the business a decade ago, over a decade with the team, I wanted to create a pipeline to the pros. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to, if you want to say, control my own destiny. I
Okay.
wanted where it's personal relationships. It's things that I build on and off the court with different owners and companies. And so what we did, we said Streetball To Pro. Let's now, if you want to say, I started to take a vision of combining the two, where in Louisiana, I was a part of a money tournament. I was down there doing that. I was the celebrity that came in as the coach scout,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working with influencers, and shout out to Hezzy and them. Hezzy and Chris, they
Hezzy
played
the
for
God.
me.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
Hezzy the God and Chris Staples played for me on my first, I guess you can say, when I started to combine the two. And then my pro players that I had brought from Seattle who played in the money tournament. So I started to, right before the pandemic, began to show and work on this idea. And so once I came back, life, you know what I mean, pandemic, when I came back, I began to say, God let him Street Ball To Pro, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, okay, what is Street Ball To Pro? Street Ball To Pro is being able to give players opportunities or jobs that is in the street ball world, that's uh, maybe in a college that's pro. It's basically a pro platform. One of the misconceptions, and I love this, what we're doing now. Of course, as we talk about it, I'm connected to a lot of the AN1 players now, right?
Okay.
And so they're a part of what I'm doing. And one of the things that we are letting people understand, street ball, there's a difference between an entertainer
Mm-hmm.
and a professional.
Okay.
And one, a lot of times, a lot of folks has gotten caught up and said, "Oh, it's all just entertainment," and that's not the case, right? So you had some players, and I let them tell their stories. You know what I mean? And they're calling and they say, "Okay, was an entertainment, but this player, this player, this player, all these players could have, should have went to the league, and they was league type players." So street ball to pro. So that's what it is. It's saying that we're giving a platform back to the original, we would say old school, the original street ballers. This is their platform, which now they're helping to build and continue their legacy, and really begin to put them in a place where they not only can they tell their story, but the fact that now stability, they're able to build a company and have something for their name, and you know what I mean. So it's a lot that's going into it. So that's what Streetball To Pro is. It's the new platform for the N1 guys, so they can tell their story.
Okay, so you have this in which I'm getting ready to share the Legends Tour that is basically about to come up. What can you do to expound and give us a little backdrop to this?
So the Legends Tour, how this all came about, right? So
Okay.
like I said, Streetball To Pro, the idea when God gave it to me, I was like, okay, love the idea. And God said, it's going to be the next N1. And I'm sitting here like, okay, the next N1. First of all, I got to know N1 people. You know what I mean? And at
Yeah,
that time,
yeah,
I, I,
yeah.
I wasn't even working with N1. None of the guys, I didn't know any of them. I only been working with overseas professional, like that side of the game, right?
Correct.
And shout out to Black Sheep. He had a showcase down in Mexico, and Ballaholic was down there. He was
Okay.
down there, and I took some guys because, like I said, that's what I do. I help players get jobs, so I took some guys down there, a team, and we played Ballaholic in our first game, right?
Okay.
And somebody was like, oh, yo, that's Ballaholic, like from N1. I'm like, nah. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to, I got it. I got to go introduce myself. Hey, brother, because he gave us
Yeah.
buckets. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, brother, you gave us buckets. And I said, you Ballaholic? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I said, you know what? Can I have a minute of your time? You know what I mean? This is who I am, and this is the vision that I have, and it's called Streetball To Pro. So our time in Mexico, that weekend we was playing a tournament, we had a chance to sit down. I shot him my idea and the vision, and it was similar to what he had. And
Okay.
so what I told him to do, I said, let's do this. Basically, I have a jersey, so the jersey I just normally hung up. I gotta redecorate my office again, but because I just moved. But that jersey that he's signing, that was our first contract. That's how we was doing our contract. You know what I mean? I said,
Okay.
boom. He signed the jersey, the contract. I said, we're gonna start you off in UK. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get you to UK, then I'm gonna take you to Japan, and we're gonna keep building this together. So another difference with the Streetball To Pro, he's a partner, so I gave him a piece of the ownership. You know
Roger.
what I mean? So now what happens is he's not just in a sense working and getting paid, but he's building his own
He's
company.
building his,
He's
yeah,
built
he's building his brand.
right, you know what I mean. And so that was, our agreement, and he watched me fulfill and keep my words on everything that I told him, despite what he's been through. You know what I mean. And so
Mhm.
that really encouraged him and changed him. Like he's a whole different dude. Like for real. Even when you
And
met
I
him,
remember, yeah,
yeah,
I remember
yeah,
us having a conversation and talking and stuff like that. And I've watched y'all do y'all lives and talk to people and bringing people on, and so you can see like there's been an evolution portion toward him to where he's kind of like started to take it or look at it from probably a different perspective. Like he presumably went from being the guy that was doing the play, and now he's the guy that's as well as putting on
yeah.
for his mans and them and all that type of stuff. Seemingly,
That part, and so that's what it is too, right? When I came to him, I said, man, God is going to use you to like put on your peoples. You know what I mean? He's going to open
yeah,
it up, and I didn't know like how it was going to be, how fast or any of that. I just, me and him, just kept building a personal relationship, you know what I mean, outside of
Uh-huh.
basketball. And from there, farm, I was introduced to farm, you know what I mean?
The
And me and
pharmacy.
farm started building a relationship.
Uh-huh.
And I invited farm to be a part of what Ballaholic and I was doing at that time was a camp. So we now brought him into the fold and said, hey, man, let's all come together. Streetball To Pro, this is what it is. And I got a jersey from him. You know what I mean? Like I said, that's our little contracts that we were signing. So he came, he did it. He loved everything that was going on in the division. And so he's like, yep, let's do it. You know what I mean? So I had those two guys and I was like, man, let me just reach out to Baby Shaq. You know what I mean? I
Okay.
don't know. So I just reached out to him, and I love it because we just did a podcast, and he said, I didn't go through Ballaholic. Everything is personal. It's personal relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in that, of course, if Ballaholic would have reached out, and he says it on the interview, no problem. Yes. You know what I mean? A lot of folks say that they might know somebody. You only can
Yeah.
imagine all of that. So, but he has a young guy which is on tour with us, and
Okay.
the whole idea is helping players go pro. And he's the young fella. It was funny because I called him at first Tay Tay, but his name is Ty Ty.
Ty
And when
Ty.
I did that, I was like, hey, Tay Tay. And he was like, no, it's Ty Ty. I said, my bad. So Ty Ty,
Okay.
he's 6'3", about 6'3", 6'4" from New York. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Playing overseas, and he was playing minor league and just waiting, right? And needing that opportunity. And so that's Baby Shaq is his mentor.
Okay.
So once again, what is so different about Streetball To Pro? It's a mentorship program. It's a program which is allowing the N1 guys to raise up the next generation, and that's what we're doing. Those guys are not trying to come on the tour to sign these big deals, and it's about them. It's about them, and was the vision from the beginning, was to raise up and to teach and leave the legacy and let people understand the difference between entertainment, street ball, and real pro street ball. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Situation. And so it's a lot more that's behind it, but that's pretty much, in a sense, how Baby Shaq came on. He said, man, my man needed an opportunity. And so I put myself in a position because he has a name, everything he has, and come on tour with me. And these are the stories, like, because I've been talking to Shane. Shane is also is going to be basically the Street Ball To Pro is owned by three of us now. You know what I mean? So I
Okay.
came in, boom, I had majority ownership, came to Ballaholic, spoke to him, told him, hey, I'm a partner, come be a partner, give you ownership. Same thing with Shane. So more is coming out on that. So he is
Okay.
going to be the three of us that's owning the Street Ball To Pro with his guidance. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
here's the person who had the original vision, him in main event. You know what I mean? Those are the guys who created the movement. And so I reached out and spoke to both of them and got love from both of them. And so I asked Shane, hey, I need you to drive this thing. You know what I mean? My part is to be that resource. I have relationships. I know how to book. I know how to coach, scout, do all this and that. So now we have a platform with your vision on how to mentor and raise them up, the next generation, how to, we want to go to camps, everything that I'm already doing, going to the schools. And it's just really building up their community. At the same time, they're building a brand and be able to take care of their children's children, and they have a
Yeah.
legacy. And so
That's a legacy.
that's what we're working on. That's what's so different about Streetball To Pro is because everybody is coming on to pass the torch, at the same time raise them up and to look over, the legacy in the game itself. You know what I mean? So Bone Collector, I saw him in Canada at another event that we both
Uh-huh.
was at, and I told him I wanted to do something with him, and he showed mad love. That was before I talked to Shane. He was right after Baby Shaq. I hit up Bone Collector, told him what I wanted to do, the lineup, and the love that they have. He said, "Man, I'm on." You know what I mean? So once I had those four, I was like, "Yo, let's go." You know what I mean? Let's do this, let's do that, and God bless me with the sit down with Shane because, like I said, pharmacist is his little brother. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. We
yeah,
all
yeah.
start to hear the history, and that's
Yes,
the thing. I'm
yes.
like, oh, this is good. You know what I mean? So it's cool to be behind the scenes because I get to hear a lot of the details. But long story short, that's what it is. It's a platform in which we're building together for our community, the street ball community, the pro, which is allowing us to cross over, and we're talking to other countries. We're talking to a lot of folks. Shout out to Frank Allen, who is a Hall of Famer out of Murray State, who is also a big supporter. He's coming on. He's bringing us to Memphis, and he's going to help us with some more cities. You know what I mean? City tour. So this right here that we're seeing right now is just a promo tour. It's just letting everybody know what we're doing. So we're going to hit the Zeke in, which is a
Mm.
huge major
Yeah, that's a
NBA.
platform. Yeah.
Right, you know what I mean. So that's how we're coming back like that. You know what I mean. And so with my reputation, just having the kids have admirals before, like bringing these kind of headliners, legends. Um, I've been blessed. I took second place and fourth place. You know what I mean. So I've been able to bring in pro teams and pro players, up and coming players. Then that's pretty much what it is that I had in my system, and we did very well. So we're like, let's hit the big stage, big cameras. Let's let everybody know what we're doing, and then we're gonna go to New York for
Mm-hmm.
a tryout out there, which is against the Bangkok Coyotes. So that's a Thailand team. So, like I
Uh-huh.
said, Streetball To Pro, every opportunity or everywhere we go, the players that's on the tour, like the young guys that's looking for jobs, we're putting them in a place to get a job. If
Okay.
they don't get a job, if they choose, if it's not enough or whatever, or they don't want it, and they want to stay home and stay on tour with us, well, that's how they get paid. So that's the other difference, right? So we're offering job opportunities, mentorship, and that's what another reason we got like Shane as from player development. He's teaching everybody to
Yes.
giving them, hey, this is the vision, this is what it is, you know. So we're mentoring the next generation and passing the torch, and so Streetball Pro, like I said, once again, core is to promote those different things, let everybody know in the different regions in cities, because we'll be in Detroit Elite Pro. Shout out to them, Shannon. That's a men's pro league, which got some, or pro am, that has connections to Peru and some more countries, Mexico. So everywhere we're going on this tour, and then we're going to finish in Memphis. And that's what Frank Allen, and Frank Allen is working on a 12 city tour. You know what I mean, for us to do. So that's the thing with that part. But then we are
Okay.
also going to UK. That's a whole nother one that I'm gonna throw at you. We're going to UK in September for our Shoe Ball to Pro Legends Tour, UK. That's
Okay. So what is it to say? Because it sounds like basically you're talking about, even though we say street ball, we're not talking about the and one type of, which that probably is the what people start to see as. It's legitly that these players that have played street ball are showing their moxie and showing that they have the skill to be professionals. Correct? Is that what
that.
we're trying to paint, the picture you're trying to
Yep,
paint?
yep. That is the correct picture we're trying to paint, and that was the when y'all get to, and we're gonna be doing interviews, you know, with Shane and some more of the other guys, especially Shane. That's me and him been talking the last couple of days, and when I gave him the vision, I said, you know, let me give you the vision of Streetball To Pro. And when I got done, he said, that's N1.
Yeah.
So that was the aim of N1 from the beginning,
Okay.
right? That's one of the things. If you say, when I say from the beginning, is the guys, which like I said, main event and Shane, those are like the visionary guys that was putting it together. They're both like pro athletes. You know what I mean? A
Yeah.
lot of guys that were pros, but it got, I guess, that entertainment value part. Oh, it's just tricks. It's tricks. It's like, no, these guys are
To play.
really,
Yeah.
yes. And
Yes.
so that's what it is. You're correct.
Okay, okay. So how so far from what you see, especially knowing that because I know you've done something with Ballaholic as well as the pharmacist prior to getting Bone Collector, Baby Shack on, and Shane and everybody else. Has that starting to resonate from your standpoint when you look at it, when you just people are able to separate like these were and one players and the moniker of street ball that goes along handily with and one, has that been a hard has been hard to paint that picture to people to see that no, these are professional ballers. Like these are professional players that have played overseas and can play somewhere and potentially G League type. So has that been a hard picture to paint for your viewers and followers?
Well, I would say no as of right now. And why I say that is because a lot of my followers, or a lot of our followers, is the street ball world community as well. So,
So
and
they have
that's
an
one of the,
understanding.
yep. So that's one of the things that why they have such a love for me, right?
Okay.
Because I'm helping them to put out something to let the whole world say, no, you're trying to keep us over here and
Yeah.
keep us in this one box, and that's
Remove
not
the
it.
stigma. Uh-huh.
Right, right. And so that's the reason why it's so much in everybody else. It works in a way because all of the guys that they know NBA guys, they know pro guys, you know what I mean? So those guys know that they are pros. They play at this high level, and these guys belong here. They can go overseas, and so that's one of the things. If you look at something like Ball is Life, there's a lot of guys that you see
Yeah.
that's crossing
Yeah.
over. And so that's what I'm saying. It's saying, oh man, oh, this is something new. No, it was happening since day one. But what happened was, you think about it, this big thing of street ball, and they didn't have to go overseas. They can stay home and get paid all this money. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's another thing when you start to hear behind the scenes and you look at the time and you think, you'd be like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna pass up this, because what I heard was, well, Spider is the only one who back then went overseas. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? So he was the one who listened and said, okay, let me basically eat from both worlds, because you think about it, they can play street ball and one, have y'all, you want
Yeah.
to categorize it, and then they can go in the off season, you can go overseas, and so that's what we're doing. We're showing everybody this is the kind of players, and it's a difference between that entertainer, which just does tricks,
Yes.
and you know what I mean? These guys can do these things within the game, you know what I mean, without traveling with certain things, and they know
Yeah.
when if we need to just go straight basketball, that's why we're saying, hey, let's go to Z again. You
Yes.
know what I
Okay.
mean? So let's go to a pro tryout. Why am I going to take a bunch of tricksters, if you want to
Yeah.
say, to a pro tryout, or take them to all of these places, especially if I build the name? When Kitsap Admirals, when you think of the Admirals,
You
we
don't think of
got
the
pro
street ball.
players,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So as of right now, I think it's building up a lot of excitement. You know what I mean, on both sides, because you got a bunch of legends who lost the platform, and
Mm.
you know what I mean, that they built, and it was taken from them. You know what I mean. So if you look at that, and they didn't have no say. So now what you do? Now they're just, what's going on? So now they have a platform where, like Shane and I, I love that dude. He said, this is the year of the truth. So y'all
Mm.
gonna begin to hear things that, you know what I mean, that's just the truth. It's not, like he told him, I can't wait. I'm gonna get him on, and we're gonna do some. He has a podcast and things that I know he's gonna be coming out. We don't have dates, but just things he's gonna tell his story, and a lot of them are telling their story. And this is the
It sounds like
platform.
there's plenty stories to be told. Like this is like it's I can say a redemption, but there's plenty to be told to speak for, because from a perspective, like let's say for me, for instance, all I remember seeing, like you said, the main events and everything, Ballaholic, for
Yeah.
my man from my represent Bad Santa represent the CPT, like what I'm saying, like what I'm saying, checking them out and seeing them and stuff like that, and what I'm saying, of course, what I'm saying, professors and all that type of stuff, and see them as strictly, like you say, be street ballers. But of course, some of them we know, what I'm saying, Skip to Malou and all that type of stuff had, what I'm saying, the ability to go pro, and was more than just being, just like you said, a trickster and all that type of stuff. So it sounds like there's plenty of stories to be told in reference to where careers went and how it went. And I'm saying now this is almost like a redemption tour in the
Yeah.
sense of where it shows like, nah, I do this for real. Like all the other stuff, I learned to do that to be an entertainer. But if you remove, what I'm saying, my fancy handle and the trick shots and all that type of stuff, like I can sit up and
Yeah.
strap in and do that. So that's what it sounds like literally that is about to go on here, what we hear and about to see. So, is there any chances of any other former and one S street ballers that are planning to come into the fold, or are you going with this crew with it and then just going to work that from there, and as it continues to build, brings more in and go from there? Like, how are the teams going to be constructed, or how is the team going to be constructed for you to play in this weekend and all this and the other games?
So this tour, the tour that I have right now, we already have a team just for this one. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And moving forward. And so what has happened is I've been working on this for the past year, Ballaholic and I. We've been putting it out. We've been doing, like, you go back and we're telling people, oh, $50. We're trying to just give you an opportunity, because once this thing kick off, you're not going to be able to get in. You know what I mean? It's going to
Okay.
be very hard to get in, because now, you know what I mean, we're mainstream. You know what I mean? While you still underground and you're trying to come to the forefront. So we started to do a tour. So we went to Milwaukee, which we found a player. You know, we went to different states and different places, and we picked up players along the way. So this tour is made up of those players that
Okay.
have been selected and are on, that we're planning on helping along the way. And so, like Bone Collector, well, no, I'm about to say, well, Bone Collector won't be able to make New York's game, which is fine, because it's a tryout. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we got people that's hitting us up, and so we are going to be bringing in more players. You know, along the way, we're going to be building more teams. We do have a partnership deal with quite a few people that's sort of in place. One of them is Court Kings. And Court
Okay.
Kings is the huge street ball side on the
Yeah.
Christian side. So we're in talks with them, and it's all about coming together and unity and building. And so we're looking to be able to, once again, provide job opportunities on both sides. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
Court King, street ball, which you would say is more entertaining. You know what I mean? And
Correct.
then
Yes.
you have us who are pros. So now I have a platform. Streetball to Pro is going to be the platform for both sides now. You know what I mean? So that's what's going to happen as we're sitting down. You know, sitting with Shane and Victor. He's the owner of Court King. So as I'm sitting down with the other owners and leaders, and we begin to come together and say, what does it look like to continue to reach the masses, make us stronger as a unit, and then we're going to cross over and how we can support one another. And so, yes, it's going to continue to grow. It's going to offer more job opportunities as of right now. This team here, you only see four. I do have, trying to see, I have a surprise NBA player that's going to come out. We ain't saying nothing yet.
Okay.
I have a couple of six guys that play pro that's coming. So we have some, some D1 pro guys, the same format that I had as from the Admirals. And all we
Uh-huh.
did is just added the headliners, to OGs to put the stamp on it, and then to lead the charge. So that's what it's going to look like until, ooh, I don't know, because we're supposed to go to UK. So in UK, we will be changing a few people up. We'll be bringing some extra players on that tour. But as of right now, on that one that's on the flyer, we have that roster.
Okay, and you say the Detroit Elite Pros, a team that's in the September in Memphis. So are those the currently what's been planned, or do you plan
Yeah.
to add more dates to this tour going forth?
Yes, we are planning on adding more. Our hopes, which we believe, if we put something out there and you see at least that, then you'll be willing to, you know what I mean, more people gonna start calling and hitting us up.
Yeah,
So that's our idea. This is
more of an interest to get on.
right, right. So this is why we're saying it's a promo tour, and we're getting a lot of great feedback. I got a lot of, like I said, great people, uh, the great leaders, the visionaries coming together. We're all working to really push the narrative, and so our hopes is, like I said, Frank Allen is one of the guys that's wanting to get us. Quite a few cities, up to 40 cities, you know what I mean? Just things that he has opportunities. And so we got a lot of folks that are contacting us and working with Court Kings. They're going to open up their schedule and we're going to help and we're going to cross and see how we can like book events, co-book events, you know what I mean? So we can be all in the schools. They can have opportunities to see both sides and vice versa. You know what I mean? We play in a different arena, in a different style. And so that's the hope, is just continue to build that. And then shout out to my man. I have to give them the shout out because this is my media team as of right now. That's really pushing a lot of what we have going on. Unprotected hoops and the killer crossover, right? So they're two organizations. Craig, he's the over at Unprotected Hoops. Sat down with them. OB1, he's another shoe baller that got mad stripes, respect, and he's been helping out quite a bit. He's going to come drop in on one of the tours, and that's another thing. On some of the tours, we're going to have some guest street ballers that come through that got names. You know what I mean? So,
Okay.
so yeah, that's what it is now. Is we are going to build. So if y'all want to book us for appearances, games, we was talking about youth events. We want to do all of those community type involvement. We're huge on that. Hit me up, Streetball To Pro type deal, and we get you on the schedule. So we are looking for new dates or more dates. Put that more dates.
So and I see that, like you said, the youth camps and clinics. Where are the youth camps and clinics that y'all have done so far that has been out there? What has that been like?
Well, the ones that before this one here are the ones that we did. Ballaholic and I, we went to UK. We did one over there. We did one in Japan where we just came back, and we did one in Washington. So we've done 3 so far, youth camps. And so we're looking to, like I said, go back to UK, and we're working with our partners, the New York Court Kings, that we got a relationship. That's another reason why we're going to New York. So everything that we're
Networking
doing,
coming up.
that networking at its finest. You know what I mean? So these are personal relationships. So that's, like you said, that's what it is.
Okay. So the Zeke in August. So when do you sleep at this point? I mean, like you said, you moving along.
Look, this right here is Lotus. You know what I mean? This is like a type of coffee, like for real, like really now. And then it's crazy, right, T? Because I just got married like 2 months ago, right? And so, I love my wife. I gotta give her a shout out.
Did she know? Did she know? I was about to say, did she know what she was getting into? Did she understand the assignment?
Well, look. I tried to tell her when we first met, right? I said, look, love. I said, man, your life is really gonna change. You know what I mean? And she was like, okay, she knew who I was in a sense because the community, right? The community I live in, I'm a basketball coach, and so she knew of me and who I was, but didn't really know exactly like all the ins and outs. And so now, when we got together, we started doing the New York tour, and I said, hey, I'm starting to get this thing going. You willing? You want to get behind? She was like, yep, I got you. Whatever you need. I'm like, okay. I said, it's going to cost quite a bit to get this thing up and going. And then once it get going, our life's going to change. And it's like, okay, everybody say that, right?
Yeah.
And I think like now she's like, oh, wow. I'm like, okay, what's next? And she's watched it change, and she's been with me where I've started it all up over and where I'm at now. And she's been very patient and with me because I'm telling you, I'm on a video calls and stuff until midnight and this and that. And she's like, okay. So that's why I said I had to give her a shout out because it really is really big, especially for me where I stand on and what I believe, to take care of home first. You know what I mean? And so being who I am and all this that's pulling, I'm like, forgive me, I'm not trying to neglect you or in our relationship. It is taking a lot, and she's so cool with it because she's like, she understands what's going on. And so that's why I'm like, God, I thank you for and giving me a wife who is working with me and supporting me and understand, because it is a lot right now. I'm like, I take naps. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, let me see. I'm like, ain't that old yet, but I need to take naps. So yeah, it is busy. It's busy, but I'm no complaints over here, because if I wasn't busy, then it'd be a whole nother problem. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yes, sir. You
So
know, I'm sorry, we got to
go
get
ahead.
this to the military. We got to get this. So that's where one of the things, like, shout out to you, T, because whenever I hit you up, you always show me love, and you've been showing me love since we met. And I
Yes, sir.
was thinking, I was like, man, the military, this would be something that'd be great, you know what I mean, for the kids, for even, like I said, the pro, any side that you want to do. If you want to do fundraisers, we got
Mm-hmm.
you. If you want to go really get it in and see if y'all really made like that,
Mm-hmm.
we got you. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
you want to teach the kids and do things, we got you. So that's another thing, wanting to be able to see how we can possibly partner and collaborate and bring something to our military. You know what I mean? With me
And
being a vet, you being a vet.
yeah, so it's definitely which I have some people, of course, that probably put you in contact with or reach out to see. As we were speaking, and it was a lot of things that was coming into my mind. So definitely, like I said, we had started speaking before we got on live. So, but
True.
it's yeah, so it's a few people I'm very sure I could reach out to and put in contact with to see what can possibly happen and, for it, like you said, in all aspects. You know what I'm saying? Just when people start to get together and start to collaborate and put things together, well, some things start to happen. So
Yeah.
that's definitely, I think, is some the people I could definitely connect you with that probably to make some things happen, especially from an aspect of the military, like military basketball. It's
Yeah.
starting to take a whole different look and feel and stuff like that. And it's I think it's some untapped potential, two just untapped uh an untapped source to where to get more eyes on military basketball in general. And you
Yeah.
have a few people from San Antonio to Denver to Florida, they just like all across all those installations that is like putting in work. They're getting ready to move into the all services, so the services are getting their teams together. Shout outs to a couple of people that I've seen that were accepted to be coaches for those teams. So it's some moving and shaking going on. So
Okay.
I think there's some opening, some opportunities out there potentially, definitely.
Appreciate you as always. That's what I try to tell everybody. The value of relationships. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And that's the example when folks ask me, how did you get here? First, God put me here, and He's keeping me here. And
Uh huh.
from that, how did He? I guess in what ways? And this is tips at those who's building businesses or whatever you're doing. Relationships is important. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's like they say, it's about not what you know, it's who you know. So
Correct. So, question, right? I see
yes,
the
sir.
ambassador. How was that name bestowed upon you? The name, the ambassador.
So, so that one there, shout out to my president, Arion. So my president on my youth side, uh, we had him and his daughter. Yeah, they was on the interview because his daughter is plays for our program. She's hands down one of the top incoming freshmen coming that is in our area. And so
Hmm.
me and Ballaholic was doing an interview with him. And so at the time I was calling myself Rich Paul. Uh, and it was funny because now I sit back, and that's because I had signed Ballaholic, and I was like, yeah, you know what I mean. There's other and one guys who was around, but the vision that I had and what I was doing, I was like, oh, I'm that guy, I'm Rich Paul, and I had me and Ballaholic sort of came up there. I told him, I said, that's what it is, and he was like, no, yeah, that's cool. Well, when we was doing this interview, Ariana was like, you the ambassador, right? Because for my community, shout out to Kitsap, Bremerton, uh, all of CK,
Pacific Northwest, yeah.
yeah, Pacific Northwest, right? So they have allowed me to be the voice, right?
Okay.
And then coming around to where we at now with Streetball To Pro, I'm helping give them the voice. So I'm the ambassador. I'm the one that's helping bring and collaborate and you know, not to say the reasoning, but somewhat, right? So that is how I got the name Ballaholic. Once he mentioned, he said, the ambassador, he said, you know what? That's your name. And I said, cool. I said, Ballaholic and my president, they came up with it. I feel it represents the best because I always say, those who know, this is the Kitsap Admirals, my business, whatever you want to say. It's also my ministry. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
so that's what I say as an ambassador, and I really stand on what I believe. And as a that's the perfect name. I'm the ambassador of Christ, and I'm the ambassador in a sense for the organization or for this group of people. I'm one of the spokesperson or generals that they have adopted into the family and say, hey, let's ride. So that's what the ambassador, it has a play on words, but that's how I got it. And that's like, I wear it with pride now. I'll be like, yes, the ambassador, because it's an honor to be not only to say love and support it, but actually folks believing in you, you know what I mean, to do something, and they support you, especially, you know, when I say 12 years, you know, when you do something and you just believe in God for something, you keep going, 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 and a lot of folks fall off, a lot of people talk about you a lot, you know, and you get to this place and there folks are saying, we want you to represent us because of these things, we want you to represent. So it's a badge of honor to be called ambassador. So that is very humbling. So that's where it is now, and I hold it very, it's dear to me because of that. And that's how the ambassadors are. When I have the mic, if I'm not mic, and I used to coach, well, I still coach. So that's
Okay.
where I started. So that's how I'm one of the, if you say the legends, I'm the coach of the guys, you know what I mean? And then you have these guys. And when you look at my resume and how God took me from the mud, because it was from the ground to where I'm at now, well, my resume is pretty decent. I beat quite a few people. So it's something that just sort of fit underground to who you are now to go with these guys. So it is pretty dope to
And
be a part of history.
I was gonna ask that, like, when you know, like, of course, like, we've known each other for 7 to 8 years, and I remember we're at the point in where it started at. So when you
Yeah.
look at where you are now and going through, you're saying, your trials and tribulations and everything, personal lives, saying, just in general, what is that? What is that feeling? Where you look at, like, did you envision this? Was this always a vision, or did it just kind of like you went through a plethora of visions, and now here you are with what you're growing now?
Great question, right? And so this is how it started. I wanted to be a pipeline to overseas, right? So
Mhm.
when I came into day one, my vision and focus, I want to be a platform. I want to be a pipeline overseas. And so that was when I met you. By that time, of course, I was already going overseas. And so when we met at the tournament, we was in the final four. So it was showing that we was producing and doing very well in the States with the type of players that I had. And so um, when we came together and we started saying, hey, I go overseas, and we was already going overseas. So that was another thing. We was already going to China and winning and doing stuff. So when I met you all and said, hey, let's do some things in Louisiana because I want to expand. I want
Mhm.
to reach. I want to get the brand out. So at that time, I was thinking, the Streetball To Pro wasn't on my mind at that time. You know what I mean?
Correct.
What was on my mind was the team, the vehicle, the Kids Have Admirals, and making sure I got the relationships, I have the connections, I've proven the credibility, because that's the other part too, right? We know a lot of folks say they can do something. Oh, I can get you overseas, I can do that, I can do that. But you got more people who can't than can. You know what I
Correct.
mean? So I wanted to make sure everything was on the up and up and I was legit. And so that was the first thought, is let me create something that's not just say, and when I say legit is, if I say I'm gonna do it, I know I can do it because I have these relationships. I'm not saying, oh,
Right.
I hope I can get over
It's not
here.
lip service.
Right, right. And so that was the focus. And what I started to do when I started to expand it down south, because I did a lot of time in Louisiana, a lot of time in Texas building relationships, was giving opportunities down south. So it wasn't just in the Northwest, right? So back even while I was here, I was getting players that was going overseas. They was coming from other states.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the whole deal. So it was like, okay, I have the platform, I have the vehicle, but I'm just sort of floating because I don't feel that I'm a semi-pro team. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I was like, I refuse because I don't play at that level. I go overseas. I'm that pipeline, I'm the international guy. I'm for free agents. And so I was determined to find, where do I fit? Where do I go? And shoot, in the midst of that, God gave me the Streetball To Pro situation, because in that's where I was in Louisiana, like I said, doing the money tournaments. I was the scout, the coach, the big name on that from the pro side, and working with all the players from street ball to minor league to, what I mean, free agents who was looking. So it was like a big showcase. And
Yes.
so I just took that concept and said, okay. So it was it along the way, it progressed, or the vision became clearer. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So to answer that, that's what I didn't set out to do Streetball To Pro. I set out to be a platform for everybody who want to go pro, and that was what it looked like from the beginning. So I just kept on that road until we're here where we at now.
It's funny how things go. Like you said, you set out with one vision, and then your vision kind of like starts to change. I remember you going to the WBCT multiple times, going over there competing. Shout out Eric Dolan.
Yeah,
And so doing that thing, and like you said, it has been specifically, like you said, the network and the people that that has you. And one thing you can say from looking at from afar is that you've been consistent. You've been trying to keeping being staying consistent and continue on. And now here we have the streetball to pro, in which you said, like you said, went out seeing competing, seeing Ballaholic, and the connection again, another connection that has brought on other connections and brought
yeah,
you into other. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how that works, and but that's what happens. That's how it happens.
yeah.
So what it all said, in which I know you said it, but if you to be direct, what do you see as your timeline from there? Like, where do you see Streetball To Pro going ultimately? What is it that you want for it to be compared to what it potentially can be?
Well, what it's going to be, it's going to be the platform for, and I just we say OGs because they're olders, they're the original.
Okay.
So it's going to be their platform. So it's a platform in which they're going to be able to not only tell their story, but mentor the next
Mm-hmm.
generation, pour into their communities and to the kids, to be able to leave a legacy behind. You know what I mean? So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be something that'll be able to take care of their children's children, like and one was supposed to be. You know what I mean? So that's what the vision, that we're looking at is we're gonna be able to reach lives, and like I said, the starting the babies in all countries. You know what I mean? We got a bunch of different countries that we have relationships with, and then the Court Kings that is going to open up the door, and which I know other countries would be interested. But that's where Streetball Pro is going to be.
Going.
I mean,
So,
yep. So that's the the community has already accepted it and called it their own. You know what I mean? So, and what I'm doing to make sure, and it's just like I did with my youth program, I went and grabbed people from that's a part of that community and put them in a place of power and said, I need you to help me govern and run this because you know this better than I do. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Or these different areas. So that's what we've done with Streetball To Pro, like I said, with the ownership group and things like that, where it's saying that if it's yours, you're gonna take care of it. You know what I mean? You're gonna really do things differently than if it was somebody else because of the fact that that's just give me. That's how we always say you don't spend your own money. You know what I mean? You're giving all your time, your effort, all this and that, and you don't see really no return but a little check here and there. But if you see that your voice is being heard, everything that ideas and stuff you want to do, and we're out accomplishing it, and your community is changing, and the money is going to come as a result. You know what I mean? The money is not what we're looking at. So, good, let's go get the bag. The bag is going to come. We want to change our community. So that's what Streetball To Pro is. You know what I mean? It's set out, and we've already come to agreements on this. And this is why, and when we say coming to agreements, because this is our vision. This is like-minded. I shared mine. He shared, Shane and Ballaholic, as we sit and talk, all of our visions is the same. You know what I mean? So that's the goal. And I know with Shane, from he's the original. So I'm very confident that it's going to be the new stage and the new voice for the pro side of street ball. That's what
Okay.
it is.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, without a doubt. So, of course, like you said, Washington, New York, D-Town, Memphis, all on the clock for the rest of the year. If you've been looking, or if you're going to see this, or if someone's going to share it, put it out there, you already know. Where can they get in contact with you if they want to? I to see you at the Streetball To Pro at gmail.com is the best place for them to be able to reach you.
Yep. They can hit us there, or if they want to go to the website, it's streetballtopro.com and or Kitsap Admiral. So I kept it to, like I said, they're one of the same, because one is the vehicle, one is of course Streetball To Pro is the platform. It's going to give, it puts other people on it, promotes a lot of people, but it's the platform for the Admiral. So you can go to the website, because when you go to Streetball Pro, you will see the Admirals. You'll see a lot of what we got going on. So hit us, DM me. You know what I mean? I wouldn't, unless you know, like Shane, you know what I mean? That the big people, I wouldn't suggest you just to contact them and be like, oh, it's like that. It's not, it's really, you don't have access. Even for myself, we do have people that is going to be like the middle people, assistants and things like that. So
Yeah,
even, we start
you got some
DM,
gatekeepers.
yeah, we had to, you know what I mean? We had to, because of the fact, I mean, and I'm just speaking on myself. These guys, they're legends. So that this is something way different. And for me, it's, I've been in the loop, and I'm gonna still be accessible. You know what I mean? I'm
Yes,
not, I'm said, oh, no. The difference is I got to be more selective now because of where I'm at. You know what I mean? And
Roger.
so that's just the
Your
difference.
connections and stuff like that is a difference, man. With boundaries.
Yeah. Yep. So I got to have those gatekeepers and things like that. But, hit us up, and we definitely want to try to we want to get to the military, schools. We're trying to go colleges, any and everywhere that they will allow us to, they want us or accept us and have us. We would love to talk to y'all and see how we can work together. So hit us on the
Hey, you know
website.
what? Something that you said that just made me think about, is there a possibility, or have you reached out potentially to TBT? I know that's usually cause based or anything, but has that been the ideal or thought?
No, that's a good one. You know what I mean? It happened. And that's something that I will, it's on the list now. And that's the thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, me and you have to talk. I forgot how you think. I'm gonna have to call you offline, because you are amazing at this. This is yeah. I haven't reached out to them. I will reach out to them. And I'm just trying to think of other, like, because it is a major situation just to,
Mhm.
get these guys out, because like we were saying, we don't know how many games that they're going to be together playing. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is
Yeah.
going to be sort of like their last time, and they're only playing, like I said, to raise up the next one. And then once the
Yeah.
next one, we're going. But
Going.
yeah,
It's different. Like they're just there to float the boat, but at some point you're gonna bring in a whole nother crew that's gonna run with it.
yes, yep. So great idea, TBT. Look, I got my writing notes.
So of course, like you said, y'all, we have been on with Mr. Ashley Robinson, the ambassador, Streetballs To Pro, Kitsap Admirals, any of that. So if they're looking to make a connection or get in somewhere, feel free to, you just heard them say, hit them up, Streetball To Pro at Gmail, or go to the streetballtopro.com. You can hit them up on Kitsap Admirals, could be fine on social media. So there's a plethora of ways in this day and age to find people to get in
Right.
contact. Don't be upset if you don't, the access that you're expecting isn't had. It's definitely going to come. Any last words before we get out here, Coach?
Man, I just would like to say once again, shout out to you, Travion. Just always from, like I said, it's relationships since day one before I even got to this place and where we're going. So please know you will always have that access. You know what I mean? That
Yes, sir.
if you need anything,
Appreciate it.
reach out to me. You know what I mean? And we'll get you plugged in and do things in any kind of way we can. So it's I just wanted to just give you your roses and say thank you. I love what you got
Appreciate
going on, the way you think. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to call you offline and think business too, because I know you can
Oh
come up
yeah,
with some
yeah,
great
yeah, yeah.
ideas.
Yes, sir.
But just shout out to all the street ballers out there. You know what I mean? All the our new family, my new family, put it that way. Thank y'all
Mm-hmm.
for accepting me and allowing me to be a part of your legacy. You know what I mean? It's more than it's a legacy. And so, man, I'm excited just to bring the worlds together in a sense, street ball and pro and, just introduce, well, it is because you got Court Kings and
Court King, yeah.
us.
New York,
Yep. So
yeah,
being
yeah.
able to really build and really help get more understanding and everybody get to hear the stories and the legacy behind street balls and some of the things I'm getting to hear. It's really exciting, you know what I mean? And they're neglected in a sense, and they don't have as many opportunities. So that's what I would say. Hey, thank y'all, everybody who is supporting us, who will support us, and we just look forward just to, you know what I mean, bring these guys back and let them, like Baby Shaq had mentioned on my podcast. I had him on. He was saying this time they're going to retire the way that they want to retire. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So they're going to leave the way they want to leave. So that's the biggest thing is we thank everybody who's going to get behind us, business sponsors, endorsers, fans, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
media, everybody who's going to get behind us to help these guys leave their legacy and retire in the way that they should retire and not the story that we know. So that's my aim. That's what I thank everybody who's going to get behind us and help us to send them off the right way.
So, of course, like I said, be on the lookout. I'm very sure there's more to come for that. Until then, we'll be tapping out. I want to talk to Coach Ashley in the back for a second. As we just talk about some stuff before we got to make some connection. But we greatly appreciate y'all tuning in, tapping in. I know there's plenty to talk about. Y'all should see me again on Friday. Well, no, won't see me on Friday. I got to get my hair retwisted. But I know there's plenty to talk about as there's plenty going on. The NBA draft is getting ready to pop off, if not going on now. So you see what's going on in the world of sports. NFL is coming, NHL, all that type of stuff. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know the vibe. We greatly appreciate y'all tapping in. Share, like, subscribe. Make sure you get the word out. Share this particular show so that way everyone else sees it. You never know what can happen from myself, Trey the Commish, my man Ashley, the ambassador, Robinson. We graciously appreciate y'all. Yeah, gotta take care of the hair, baby. Peyton, you right. Got it. Yes, sir. It's been a while. I would have, like he said, visions. I never envisioned myself locking my hair and growing it, but here we are at the age of 47. This is exactly what I'm doing. So you never know how that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Right.
But we greatly appreciate y'all tapping in. We look forward to hearing from you. Talk to y'all. Know how to get in contact. Do that. Make that happen. Until then, we up out of here. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your evening.